my video is visible to you, my audio is audible to you all. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Hello everyone. I am Kanchan Rai. I am the GDG on campus organizer for Google Developer Groups on campus Amity University, Noida. And today you all are here to learn about AIML, to learn the basics of AIML. Okay, so before I get started, I have a question for all of you. What do you think actually AIML is? What have you heard of? Around you, there are many models lying out there: ChatGPT, DeepSeek, so many things. So, in one word, if anybody could, tell me what they think AIML is, you can spam in the chats. You can unmute your mic. Mimic of human intelligence, that's pretty accurate. Prediction is also correct. And guys, this is going to be an interactive session. So, like, please unmute yourself. I'm not going to intimidate you here. Training of computers. Training of hardwares would be more accurate. Analyzing patterns. So I think you all are really smart. You know what it is all about. Patterns, predictions, trying to mimic the human brain. So what happens is, yes, learning from data and improving every time. That is correct. Uh, just a second. So what happens is that when you go out and see these LinkedIn posts with AI and everything, AI at its core is actually really summarized correctly by all of you. It is prediction. It is mimicking human intelligence. But human intelligence is really simple. It's like natural. It's not like computers. You don't get exhausted. Like computers don't get exhausted. My bad, sorry. Computers don't get exhausted. They can work for hours. You can run them for years. They won't stop. But there are certain myths around AI as well. Like people think that yes, AI is some magic sort of thing. No, it is purely mathematics. It is purely hardware. It is purely predictions and patterns. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to clear, because I have seen people confuse this with, AI ML. Why is it always AI slash ML? It's not just AI, it is not just ML. Any idea, folks?
I want to ask one thing. Like, I've researched something about AI, and what I got to know is that what we call AI nowadays is not actually AI. Like AI is some like AI would be if the machine can, like, we have our own thoughts. We can process something upon any information which we do not even have. But AI needs to be trained. So I believe it's more of an advanced machine learning than calling it AI.
Yes, like that's you are close. So yes, that is the difference between synthetic intelligence, between AI, artificial. There is a word, right? Artificial. Humans are not like that. So why is it AI slash ML? The thing is, everything is a wrapper. When I say rapper, if you are a reeler like me who likes to watch many reels, you must have come across this, reel that every innovative idea, every AI startup, every AI innovation nowadays is what? Chat GPT wrapper. People are using Chat GPT, its API, they are fine tuning it, and then they are calling it as innovation. Similarly, in AI and ML, everything is a wrapper of mathematics. So, if you see this Venn diagram, right, you can see that artificial intelligence is like here, out here. Machine learning is a subset of it. Deep learning is a subset of it. And data science overlaps with deep learning, right? So, artificial intelligence is basically creating smart machines to mimic human behavior, but without any human interference. So, you can say that key, suppose you have a robot that does your task. Is it intelligent? Is it artificial intelligence? If you are not giving it any instruction, would it get up and make breakfast for you in the morning? Would it? No, you have to give it some instruction. So yeah, AI is like a broad term under which machine learning, then comes deep learning, then comes data science. So it is like that. Everything, if I could have one more subset around it, it would be mathematics. It is purely mathematics utilized with hardware, with computers, because they can do equations much faster than us humans, right? So whenever somebody asks you why is it AI slash ML, you can answer that it is because AI slash ML, it is because it is a subset. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So superset जो इसमें बनेगा, it would be artificial intelligence. Machine learning mein you have algorithms. Deep learning mein you are trying to train it like humans, like how the human brain works. Neural networks, convolutional neural networks, transformers and all. Data science is drawing insights from the data that you can tell to the machine that yes, this is the data that you have to do something about it, you have to predict something using it. So in AIML, that's why it is AI slash ML. And one more thing which is really important in this field is data, because if you don't have any data, you can't make models. You can't do anything. Like you have a kid, right? You have to teach them how to walk. What would you do? आप उस बच्चे को ऐसे like हाथ पकड़ा के चलाओगे. So what it is getting experience from the external environment around it. So this experience is basically feeding it as data. Like अगर वो धीरे धीरे चलेगा तो he'll be like okay मुझे धीरे धीरे चलना है, दौड़ूंगा तो गिर जाऊंगा, like that. Okay, so it is learning from the experience. But humans में क्या है, we are pretty simple, थोड़ा सीख जाते हैं. But machine में क्या है, if you want to make a self driving car, you have to feed thousands of images to it. एंड उसको एक्सपीरियंस लेगा कि इस डायरेक्शन में जाना है तो ऐसे मुड़ना है. सामने से इफ अ व्हीकल इज कमिंग टुवर्ड्स यू, द car has to turn away. Okay, so this is all about AI and ML and why it is AI slash ML. I hope that clears everything. यहाँ तक किसी को कोई डाउट, can unmute yourself or write in the chats. So can I go ahead? Okay, all clear. Next comes machine learning, because we are in build with AI and machine learning is a subset of AI. What is machine learning? Machine learning basically automates rule making. You enter into an organization, let's say army. You go into army, there are certain rules that you have to follow. If you're not following it, if you're in the defense academy, you will be kicked out. Okay, you have to maintain discipline, order, everything. Similarly, in machine learning, it automates your task of rule making. When I say rule making, if a person has a disease or not, suppose we have to do that. Suppose we have to predict lung cancer. I'll have an image of a lung which is like having cancer, which is not having cancer. So now when I feed it to the computer, when I feed it through the extensive training process, what would happen is it would make rules based on the mathematics that we have built. So it would make rules and it would learn that yes, this is having cancer, this one is not having cancer. Okay, and if I have to define it in a formal way, you can say that it is a way for computers to learn from data and make decisions or predictions without being explicitly programmed. Explicitly programmed means train ho gaye, now they will do their own thing. You don't need to interfere. Okay, it is not implicit. It is like teaching a computer to recognize patterns. Chat GPT is such a good pattern predictor. Okay, it is a large language model. When I say large, it means it has been trained on billions and trillions of data, billions and trillions of terabytes of data. You can't make that at your home. कि घर में बैठ के I will buy a nice GPU and I'll make it. It won't be possible. Okay, you can make small language models. That's a different story. But since this is a beginner friendly thing, we'll not go into that. Okay, we will go with the basics of machine learning. Then we'll explore linear regression. Okay, so machine learning is like there are three types in machine learning. You are seeing only two right now. Third one will come next. So machine learning is of three types: supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So when I say supervised learning, you have supervisors in company. What do the supervisors do? Can anybody like tell me what the supervisors do in a company? What their role is? Yes, keep an eye on, instruct them. What
Make
else?
sure the workflow is maintained. Uh,
Saisha, I couldn't get you.
Make sure the workflow is maintained.
Yeah, making sure how the workflow is maintained. That is absolutely correct. So, supervised learning, a supervisor in a company keeps an eye on everyone. When I say eye on everyone in machine learning, what would happen is I would tell the machine that you have to do this, you have to do that. So, it is a type of machine learning where the model is trained on labeled data set. Now, what is data set? As I previously mentioned, data is like the most important thing in machine learning. Without data you can't do anything in machine learning. आप machine को किस पे train करोगे? So let's say for example you have to predict, let's say you have height, you have two columns in your table, you have height and weight. So what you have to predict is the height from the weight. Okay, so suppose somebody's weight is 52 kgs and their height is 160 centimeter. So I will tell the model that your feature that you are going to take as input from the user is going to be your weight, and you have to predict the height. So I already told the machine that you have to predict this. So the algorithm learns to map the input and output. Okay, then it predicts on unseen data. That's there. Then comes unsupervised learning. So what is unsupervised learning? Completely opposite. I am not going to tell the machine what you have to do. Uh, for example, you go to a shopping mall like Big Bazaar, and they have like tons of data on their customers. Then Diwali is coming. You would see on your phone that they are giving you offers, right? दिवाली में ये सेल चल रही है, इस चीज के ब्रांड पे ये ऑफ चल रहा है. But what they are doing in their internal operations is they would actually do a problem which is very popular, that is called as customer segmentation. What do they do is they would take your customers data कि you came on this date, you bought this, you bought bread and ketchup, let's say, and you bought some chocolates. Some ex customer bought, let's say, some expensive crockery. So this expensive crockery wala person is like thoda on the, they bought more things, their bill was, their amount was more, so they are put in some other category. And the guy who bought, sorry, ketchup and bread, it's put in the less category. Based on what? Based on the amount of bill that you have generated for Big Bazaar. So what would the model do in this case? It would learn what to do and what not to do on its own. It would find the relationship between this data, like cluster में it would find कि yes, this customer group is like on the expensive end, तो इनको ये वाले ऑफर्स भेजने, क्रॉकरीज वाले. ये वाले आर ऑन दिस एंड, तो इनको अलग टाइप के ऑफर्स भेजने. तो इसमें भी मशीन लर्निंग आती है. ओके, डिड इट मेक सेंस गाइस? एनी डाउट्स?
No,
कैन आई? No. Okay, SN is
I have a
asked.
doubt.
Yeah, SN, go ahead.
I wanted to clarify, like you gave the example of the AI, like categorizing on the basis of the total amount of bill in the
Okay.
unsupervised learning. So, did we tell initially the AI that you have to categorize on the basis of the amount, or did it like do it on itself?
Okay, so you have your data. Data में होगा आपका नाम, email, number and the bill you have generated. Now what would the model do? It would create clusters on its own. वो अपने आप करेगा ये. By finding what relationships. Group, it will group it on its own. Okay? उसमें कोई मैं पहले से नहीं बता रही. I hope that clears it.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Next comes reinforcement learning. Now, what reinforcement learning is, how many of you have pets at home? Anybody has any dog, cat? Okay. What do you have, Sahil? Cat or dog?
Dog.
Okay. Dipanshu, that's not a good thing to say about your sister. Okay. You shouldn't be doing that. So पेट्स में क्या होता है, जब आपको पेट को ट्रेन करना होता है कि यू आर गोइंग टू फेच दिस स्टिक फॉर मी, कि मैं स्टिक फेंकूंगी तुमको लेके आनी, हाउ डू यू डू दैट? आप पहले फेंकोगे द डॉग वुड नेवर गो एंड पिक इट अप, यू विल हैव टू टीच इट कि चलो ठीक है, आई विल ब्रिंग यू सम ट्रीट, तुम वहां से वो चीज लेके आओ, आई विल गिव यू सम ट्रीट. सो व्हाट इज इट? रिवॉर्ड बेस्ड लर्निंग. सेम वे, I there is a mistake in the PPT. Please ignore it. Okay. So what it is a reward based learning. When I say reward based learning, इसमें क्या होगा कि मॉडल अपने आप ट्रेन हो रहा है, it is training. You would say that I am going to give you some reward, but अब मॉडल के सेंस में reward क्या होगा? मॉडल के सेंस में reward is not like giving it some treat. It is like tuning with the parameters, providing it some hint meanwhile training. Okay, so this is what reinforcement learning is. I hope this is also clear.
What's the difference then between reinforcement and supervised?
See, supervise में I explicitly told them कि ये तुम्हारा डेटा है, तुमको हाइट से वेट प्रिडिक्ट करना है. Reinforcement में what I would do, I would say कि you have to predict the height from the weight. Okay, but you are going to do it in another manner. The process of training will become faster. As a supervised में it's going to be a little slow. The algorithms used will be different. So if you go in depth the algorithms, then only I can explain that. Okay.
Okay.
I hope you guys are not getting bored. Okay. So supervised learning में भी there are types. इसमें types बहुत सारी चीज़ों के types होता है. Okay. So supervised learning में there is regression. Regression is like producing the continuous value of something. कल बारिश होगी, ठीक है, होगी, कितनी होगी, how many mms of rainfall would occur. So that would come in regression, क्योंकि हर input के लिए value is going to be different. It is going to be like 100 mm or 101 mm. It is not like yes or no, होगी या नहीं होगी wouldn't be in this case. Okay, so predicting a continuous value, like predicting rainfall, predicting AQI, like what would be the PM 2.5 value in this. The other type in this is classification. Just a second. Classification. Classification is like categorizing yes or no types. कल बारिश होगी या नहीं होगी. This is classification. कल बारिश कितनी होगी? It will be regression. Okay. Like
Ma'am,
chat
what does
GPT's
continuous value mean?
continuous value means numerical value. 101 mm की बारिश, 101.2 mm of rain. Okay.
Okay.
Patient is sick or not. Yes, nowadays the race is going on. Chat GPT is better or DeepSeek is better. This is also like a classification problem. You can build this by taking data from the users. Ki what do they like, what their rating is. Can make a model out of that. Now, in the starting of the PPT, you would have seen I didn't write linear regression only. I wrote general linear regression. Why? Because linear regression is like the simplest of machine learning models out there. And in general linear regression, this is like the most basic thing. Isme we have some types which are like called some other things, like they're called as ridge and lasso regression and some other sort of regression model. We are going to study the general one today. So in linear regression के लिए you need to know some things. You need to know the equation of a line. I hope सबने पहले में पढ़ी होगी ये equation, right? You guys have
Yes.
studied this. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So what is y? Y is your point that you get, right? X comma y, you have some graph. Let's say जिसमें m क्या होता है? M is your slope. Slope किसी को याद है slope क्या होता है?
Tan theta, the angle basically from the x-axis. Positive
Yeah.
x-axis.
The tilt of the line we can say in simple words, yeah, tangent. And what is c? C is the intercept, the distance from the y-axis, from the x-axis, right? Now, in this linear regression thing, we are going to study equation of a line, simple equation, y is equal to mx plus c. If you know this much, it is completely fine. Then we are going to see what is a best fit line, what is cost function, what is gradient descent, what is loss slash residual errors. These things might sound alien to you or something. Don't worry, we are going to cover everything. Now, linear regression, when I say we have graph, right? We have some sort of graphs, let's say like this. I have some points here, here, here. Now what I'm going to do is linear means line basically. So I'm going to find a line that fits all of the data points the best. Like ये वाली line से we are only able to cover one point, right? If I draw another line, it is covering 2 points, right? Is it like understandable to all of you?
Yes.
I can hear only one person speaking, not anybody
Yes.
else. Just say yes or no once, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
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 Okay. Please don't call me ma'am. Kanchan is fine. I am a college student. I'm in third year, okay? Don't call me ma'am. Kanchan is fine. Right? So, what we are going to do, hmm, again, height and weight wala example. We have a chart, let's say, height and weight. But now, what are we going to do? We are going to predict the weight from the height. So we have, let's say, these data points. The values are not like accurately plotted. It's just for showing you guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find a line that fits all of these data points. The line that covers all of the data points the best way. Not like कि ये वाली line तो एक ही point से जाएगी if I draw a line from here. Right? So our goal is to find the best fit line. I hope best fit line क्या होता है सबको समझ में आ गया.
Yes.
Okay. I have so many lines here. Now, which one of these is fitting the model, going to fit the model the best? There are like
The red one.
I'm red
lines
one.
here. Okay, red one. इसमें तो you are able to tell.
Red one.
Just imagine you have thousands of points. Now, how will you tell all the lines are really close to each other? How would you do that? That's like difficult, na? So our question is which line fits best or which line covers all the data points. So for that, before that, finding which line fits best, I have something. So in machine learning, what happens is we train a model, we give it some data, feed it to the model, then the model gives us hypothesis. Hypothesis means it will find something and it will check. Like height and weight ke case mein it will be like, okay, let me fit a line in this data point and then find like is it good, is it fitting the best, so that is your hypothesis. Is that clear?
Can you repeat, please?
Okay, it is. So in the case of height and weight, what input I am going to give is the input I am going to give is going to my height and जो output मुझे मिलेगा that will be your weight. Yes, as and you would like to say something.
Can you please repeat again what you just said?
Okay, so train से should I?
Yes.
Okay. So when I say that I'm making a model, I would give it some data, right? I would train it on some data. Then after training, what will I get? I will get a model, linear regression in this case. Now, linear regression model ने at the end क्या करा? It found a best fit line. But to do that, it like did all the computations and mathematics to find the best fit line. इसने सारी lines तो नहीं try करी होंगी या करी होंगी. We will see that. Manually करना इसको, it is like such a time taking process. If you have 10 points, it's easy. But if you have thousands of points, it is very difficult. Okay. So model made a hypothesis. So hypothesis is actually a function, which we will see what it is. Okay. Asim, did I
Okay.
clear your doubt?
Yes.
Okay. Dipanshu is asking, can I ask one doubt which is not related with this concept, but related to AI/ML? Yes, Dipanshu. You can unmute yourself. Dipanshu, I'm waiting. Chalo, we'll come to it after this. Okay. So what did I have? I have a plot. I'm going to try to find the best fit line. Let's say for this example, the best fit line was this red line. Okay. Assume karo ki it is. It doesn't look like, but let's say it is. So for some value of height, let's say the weight was found here. But if you see in the data, what was the actual weight here? You can see some gap like between the actual value and the predicted one. Can you guys
Yes.
see that? Yes, you can see that. So this thing is called as loss or residual error. When I say loss, means that I have some data. It was the model was trained. It predicted something closer to it, but there was some accuracy thing which was not like correct. So that is your residual or loss. So let's say this point was x, let's say it was x minus x cap, let's say this one, the predicted one. I would get, what would I get? I would get the loss. So what we try to do is to, while finding these many best fit lines, is to find the line which produces the minimum loss, in the accuracy of your data. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
I can see only one person speaking. Now I remember his name. Okay, बाकी तो लोग देख लो. I may not remember your name. चलो
Yes,
अब
ma'am.
देखो कि thumbs up आने लगे. Shahrukh is also there. Namit is also there.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Ananya.
Can you repeat that line? What is actually residual loss? Like,
Yeah. See, these are the data points that I have in my plot. Okay, Ananya?
yes, yes,
Okay. Let's say I am saying that this is my best fit line. It is fitting the best. Okay.
yes,
Covering all the data points out of infinite number of lines that I may have. Now,
yes.
here, uh, in the actual data, let's say this x, can you see the pointer? Can you guys see the pointer?
Yeah, it's visible.
So,
Yes, it's visible.
yeah. Okay. So let's say this is the actual data point that I have, and my model predicted this green one on the line. But if you look closely between this predicted one and the actual one, this is the actual one, this is the predicted one. There is some gap, right? It is not accurate. It was supposed to predict 52 kgs for 160 centimeter, but it predicted
Yes,
52.1 kg for 160 centimeter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So that is your loss. You were supposed to predict something, you got something else. and there was a difference between those values. That is your loss or that is your residue. Is that correct? Uh, did I clear your doubt, Ananya?
Yes. Thank you.
It is always a line or it can be curved. It is always a line because we are saying linear regression. Okay, curved lines while algorithms are also there, but we are studying linear regression. It is like the simplest algorithms out there. If you do this, you're good. Iski maths if you understand better. Okay, so in linear regression, I have this line y is equal to mx plus c. Now, this is my hypothesis function. If you guys remember what I said about hypothesis is what the model gives it. कि ये मैंने find करा है. This is the what I am giving, what I am hypothesizing. हाइपोथेसिस फंक्शन होता है, ठीक है. इट इज गोइंग टू टेल यू कि ये चीज मुझे मिली है द बेस्ट विच आई कुड फाइंड. सो ये इक्वेशन माइट लुक लिटिल स्कैरी. इट इज नॉट सिंपल. y इज इक्वल टू mx plus c है. For some function h theta of x, I have this intercept. It is the same thing, right? And this thing is here. Understood, folks?
The I in the formula, is that like a variable I or the iota?
It's not iota. It is not iota. It is like ith value for nth value. You
Okay,
have
okay.
things, right? So this is the hypothesis function which the model gave me. Now, just come back. Just a second. If you look at this table, you only have height and weight. But in real life, models are not that simple. Data is not that simple. You may not have just height and weight. You can also have, let's say, age here as a factor of your weight. You might have age. You might have, let's say, the bone mass or the muscle mass. According to that, you are predicting your weight. एक चीज नहीं होगी. We are taking just one to simplify it, okay, for you all. So let's say if I have multiple features, when I say features, features are what I'm going to give as input to the model. Okay, I might have, let's say, age, I might have height, I might have muscle mass, which is giving me what? Weight. This is the intercept, this one. So I can have n number of features. We can have multi-dimensional, things. But these multi-dimensional things, you can't plot it in x and y. That's not how it works. This would become what? One, two, three. Let's say there are three features. It would become 3D. Can you guys actually see 3D objects? Like 3D is visible to you all or not? What world do we live in?
We live in 3D
Yes,
only.
But you can only perceive 2D things, okay? That's there.
yes.
अगर कोई क्रिस्टोफर नोलन का फैन है तो उसने इंटरस्टेलर देखी होगी. So in the end there was a fourth dimensional thing, right? देखा किसी ने वो?
Yes, देखा है.
हाँ
देखा ना?
देखा है.
हाँ इंटरस्टेलर में.
हाँ देखा है.
देखा इंटरेस्टेड में इसमें.
हाँ इंटरस्टेलर बोलते ही सब बोलने लग गए.
Yes, ma'am.
नाइस. चलो कोई नहीं. सो अगर आप अगर कोई मुझे मिल जाए ऐसा सुपर पावर वाला इंसान जिसको अपने पीछे का भी दिखाई दे रहा है तो गिव मी दैट. सो यू कांट एक्चुअली plot this in 3D, okay? 3D or 4D, you have 5D features, but you can't do it, but machine can do it, right? So machine can do this. You may not be able to visualize it because you live in a 3D world and see 2D things, but machine will do it. But for simplicity, we will consider only one feature, which is height. And we will predict what? We will predict weight. But how will the model, a question I asked initially was, how will the model predict which line is best? Would it plot all the lines? But sari lines ko plot karna is a hectic task, right? It is like plotting infinite lines and like, what do they say? You try to find needle in a stack of hay, right? It's not that simple. Yes, Sahil.
लाइक इट कैन डू कि पहले एक एक पॉइंट पे देखा, फिर दूसरे पॉइंट पे देखा, ऐसे कुछ ट्रायल्स किए और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली जो मैक्सिमम आ रहा है उसी पे ही या उसके अराउंड लाइंस बनाए.
You know, this can be done. क्योंकि लीनियर रिग्रेशन में द टेक्निक दैट दे यूज इज कॉल्ड एज ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट. अगर किसी ने लर्निंग मटेरियल ओपन करा हो और किसी ने लर्निंग मटेरियल देखा हो, उसका क्विज करा हो, तो ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट वाज देयर. बट द थिंग इज, you find some other technique to find the best fit line, you can write your research paper. That would be on your name. Okay. So the technique currently that is used is called as gradient descent. So which one finding the best fit line is a task for the computer as well. What we are going to do, we are going to do some mathematics here. We have this hypothesis. You guys remember what hypothesis was?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, hypothesis याद है सबको.
Yes.
Then we get this thing, this scary looking equation, which is cost function. How did it appear? If you want to learn the whole mathematics behind it, I can share a video. It is by Andrew Ang, Coursera ka CEO. He's selling courses now, but he is a really good guy when it comes to AI/ML. He started learning ML when nobody was doing it back in like 12 to 15 years. I watched his video in my first year and he explained it really well. So if you would like to know how it came, how it spawned here, I would share that video. But in general, I would tell, इसमें कुछ नहीं करा है. This is like the predicted value. You have this line, okay, and these points. यहाँ वाले point के लिए they have predicted this, and the actual one is this, okay. So this predicted point is taken here, and this is the actual value. We divide it by m. M is the number of data points. It was simple till here, but why did 2 come here? If you differentiation, you guys remember?
Yes.
12th में पढ़ के भूल गए.
यस
नहीं
मैम,
याद है.
कॉलेज
याद
में
है
पढ़ा.
मैम.
हाँ याद है.
मैम उसको बैलेंस करने के
एक्स
लिए.
स्क्वायर का डिफरेंशिएशन. हाँ, एक्स स्क्वायर का डिफरेंशिएशन क्या होगा?
2x.
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 वही है.
2x.
ये है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि हम ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट वाली टेक्निक में डिफरेंशिएशन ही कर रहे होते हैं, तो वी इंट्रोड्यूस दिस 2 ताकि जो उसमें ऊपर 2 आए with some function can be cancelled by this. Understood?
Yes.
यस मैम.
Understood. Drop the ma'am, please, Kanchan. You can call me Kanchan. Okay. So what is gradient descent? The algorithm that we are going to find the best fit line. Gradient descent is an optimization algorithm. Optimization means finding the maximum or minimum in any problem. Okay, that is optimization. It is used to find the minimum value of this cost function. But why are we not finding the minimum value of the line? Minimum value of the line is irrelevant here. We will try to minimize this function. Why we will try to minimize this function? To find global minima. अब this is like 12th ka maxima minima concept. You can read that from YouTube. Okay, I'm not going to go deep into that. I have this cost function here. Okay, ये cost function है. What I am going to do is function में I am going to do differentiate it. Differentiate करने के बाद the thing that I get, I am going to plug in values in that. अब it is going to always form this upside down bell curve. Not exactly bell, parabola. Okay, and I am going to find a value जो यहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा minimum हो. ये minimum value is corresponded to this right here. Okay, which is corresponded to ये line की equation जो होती है. This is also equation line of the, you know, lines equation. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to find this global minima. So what are we going to do? We are going to differentiate our cost function and we're going to find the global minima. Now this global minima will help me to find the best fit line. How? Because we are going to find this intercept and this coefficient here. ओके, उससे मुझे अपनी लाइन का जब अगर मेरे पास कोएफिशिएंट यानी कि स्लोप और इंटरसेप्ट आ गया, then it is easy. I found the line. Is it making sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. I found the global minima. I got the line. I got the best line that was fitting in my height to weight वाला data. Next is learning rate. But ये process of finding this global minima here and here is a time taking process. Okay, so you can set the learning rate while training the model, that we will see in the coding part. Okay, so when I find values like एक एक check करते करते करते, we can say it has slow learning rate. If I'm going once here and once here, fast हो रहा है ये process, right? So this is like large learning rate. समझ में आया सबको?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what learning rate is. Now, let's go back to some coding. Okay, coding, should I start अभी या किसी को कोई doubt है? If you are having any doubts, just put it in the chat or uh, unmute yourself. I'll go back to that point and explain it once again. Any doubts, anybody?
No, ma'am.
Yes, Advik. Advik, you can ask your doubt.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, so I was asking that in learning rate, I was reading in the in the course which you have given. So they have given the hyperparameters, right?
Hmm. You
So I
would
was
want to know
confused,
what hyperparameters are?
not exactly, but I was confused in like how the model uh, calculates the hyperparameters by using learning rate and gradient descent, like the relation between learning rate and gradient descent.
I'll,
How the model uses that.
okay, I will explain that. So, do you know what hyperparameters are in a model or anything?
I mean, I do not know exactly, but yeah, I have an idea. Like hyperparameters, for each iteration, they set the parameter this should be the maximum or the minimum data point which it reaches.
That's not thoda sa galat hai. I will tell. So, during this training process in linear regression, what did the model find? Intercept and its coefficient. Coefficient is same as slope. Okay,
Okay.
that it learned during the training process. That is clear to
Yes.
you?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
your parameter. Hyperparameter is different. You are not, the model is not learning that on its own. You have to specify that. Okay. So learning rate is a hyperparameter. Hyperparameters are certain values that you have to plug in or you have to train it several times to find it alag alag se. Is it clear?
Yeah, I guess.
So in our like previous example, the height and weight. So can we say like the weight was a hyperparameter because we like gave it to it and said like tell us the corresponding height.
See, weight is target variable, right? So that is not
Oh, okay,
hyperparameter.
okay, okay,
You are getting it as output. Okay.
okay.
I have
Any
one
more
more
doubts?
question.
Yeah, Advik.
Yeah, in the learning rate, they have written like the learning rate determines the magnitude of the changes to make the changes to the weights and bias while updating the data, right? So what does that
Yeah.
exactly mean?
So weights and bias. Weights is similar to your parameters that you learn in the training process, like the
Yeah.
intercept and the coefficient. That is your weights that the model has learned. Bias is something that comes after you get the output, like You have trained the model. Now you are going to do some prediction to see how well it performs. So bias is actually uh, that's a topic that's thoda sa aage with what I am
No,
teaching.
no, no. I'm aware about bias, but what I'm asking
Okay.
is right. Like for example, after doing iteration over any small data set, right?
Hmm.
So after learning over any small data set, how does it? I mean, the model updates the bias and the weights, right? In order to cover the loss.
Yeah.
So in here it is written that it depends on the magnitude of the update depends on the learning rate. So how does that happen? Like how does it depend on the learning rate?
Okay, I understood. So it is like you have learning rate मैंने specify करा. Let's say for example कि you are going to, for a layman term I'm saying that in 10 seconds you are going to train on, let's say, 10 lines of data. Understood?
Yeah,
So my learning rate is quite slow, very slow. In fast large learning rate, let's say you are doing 1 second में 10 lines. So
yeah,
the model will learn on its own now. What it will do is it has compared ये वाले learning rate में ये हो रहा है, ये वाले में ये हो रहा है. So based on that, the values of weights and bias change. Understood?
yeah.
पक्का ना समझ में आ गया?
Yes, yes.
Okay, चलो ठीक है. So one last slide up till the theory. We have residual and errors and loss. Okay, so uh, here I covered what loss was. But ab loss में we can have many types of losses. You can find it in terms of square, mean absolute error. Mean absolute error is, please ignore this abhi, I'll explain that. Mean absolute error is the actual value that was predicted minus the predicted value. It's mod. Mod, you guys remember na, it is only positive. Maths itki to
Yes.
yaad hogi.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And all the number of values, okay? All the number of data points that you had, that is your mean absolute error. So इसको निकालने से when I have trained the model, predicted it with some values, plotted the graph, seen कि कौन कौन सा different हो रहा है, कितनी इसकी accuracy है, it is used to find your accuracy. You would want to minimize the mean absolute error. Okay, is that clear, everybody?
Yes.
Similarly, you have mean squared, just a second, mean squared error. Now this mean squared error में क्या करा, we have simply put a whole square on it, right? The thing is, why different things एक से क्यों नहीं हो रहा? Now this thing में the data points that are, let's say I have this data, इसमें if you see most of the data points are lying here. Some just एक है जो कि बहुत दूर है, ये वाला भी बहुत दूर है, right? So it is like ये वाला point इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा दूर है. What would happen if I find the mean absolute error? Mean absolute error में क्या होगा कि इसमें जो value मुझे दिखेगी ना, जो error होगा वो कम होगी, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होगा उसमें. Then अगर मैं इनमें actual minus predicted का square कर लूँ, you are understanding, square करने से क्या होता है, चीजें amplify हो जाती हैं, right? Understood? इतना समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes.
चीजें एम्पलीफाई हो गई, तो आपके जो आउटलायर्स हैं, आउटलायर्स आर द डेटा पॉइंट्स दैट आर वेरी वेग, बहुत ज्यादा दूर है. लेट्स से मेरे पास एक डेटा सेट है, उसमें लिखा है 160 सेंटीमीटर पे वेट इज 52, 163 पे इज 90, बट एक मुझे वैल्यू मिली है कि 150 पे वेट इज 1 kg. इज दैट पॉसिबल? नॉट पॉसिबल.
No.
बट डेटा ह्यूमन चीजों में हो सकता है कि 1 हो जाए. मान लो किसी ने CSV में ही गलत लिख दिया, उसको लिखना हो 100, उसने 1 लिख दिया. सो दीज वेग डेटा पॉइंट्स में यू विल गेट टू नो कि मीन स्क्वायर्ड एरर अगर ज्यादा आ रहा है, मतलब आई हैव सम रियली weird points in the data. That's why we use mean absolute error, mean squared error. Then we have L1 loss and L2 loss. L1 loss and L2 loss में we don't do the divide by all the values. We just find the जो जितना actual loss है. L2 is this. So your task in linear regression is to find the best fit line and to minimize the cost function using gradient descent. And when you have done all this, you have also tried to minimize what? All these residual errors and losses. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any doubts? इतना
No.
समझ में आया ना? Yes, Ishan.
So the plots which I sent you, there were no
Yeah.
outliers in the plot.
Ishan, there were outliers in the plot. जो left वाला था,
Hmm.
there were some plots ना top पे some points थे. I think
Yes.
जो लेफ्ट वाला था उसमें 3 थे और जो राइट वाला प्लॉट था उसमें 2 पॉइंट्स थे ऊपर नीचे बहुत दूर दूर.
Yes. Yes.
लार्ज MSC का मतलब क्या है? इफ यू वुड हैव लुक्ड क्लोजली उसमें लुक एट द न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू. जो राइट साइड वाला प्लॉट था उसमें जो तुम अगर देखते वैल्यूज दूर थी बेस्ट फिट लाइन के, तो जब तुम स्क्वायर करोगे तो उसमें मीन स्क्वायर एरर ज्यादा आएगा. अंडरस्टूड? कंपेयर टू दी लेफ्ट वाला.
Okay.
अंडरस्टूड?
Hmm. Yes.
ठीक है.
Thank you.
How do we know when to use which technique? Shivaya, we have studied linear regression. But in real life, we won't just use one model. We are going to use many models. I once made a project for AQI prediction. I had to use like 5 to 6 different models and see which one was the best, जिसमें accuracy best आ रही थी. So machine learning में it's like trial and error. You have to do many things, find the best one. Okay, we are not just going to use one model. Is there a high processor need for learning rate like GPU or have big data models? What is the highest learning rate? Highest learning rate depends on the model. Okay. For linear regression, it is in decimals. For some other model, it might be in whole numbers. So that depends on the model. And your other question, for basic supervised and unsupervised learning, you don't need GPU. GPU नहीं होगा. Just make sure that you have i5 वाला core or you have Ryzen का अच्छा सा processor. ये ऐसा ना हो you are training it on i3 and it's going very slow. ये नहीं तो सीधा आपके पास IE वाला है जो Intel पहले आता था बहुत पहले. तो GPU is required for computer vision techniques for deep learning जिसमें you are processing images and videos. Okay, so अभी के level के लिए you don't require that. So till now any doubts anybody?
No.
No.
Should I go to the coding part?
Yes.
Okay, just a second. I'll stop my screen and present something.
I want to ask that we need to submit that practice coding part also.
The task that is given to you.
No, no, like model 1.
This one. Wait a minute. I'll open the resources tab and tell me which one you are asking for. Which one, Sanya?
That second one, collab notebook one.
This one?
No, no, upper. That collab
Upper.
notebook
Acha,
programming.
this one. This is only for your practice to
Okay.
reinforce your learning. You don't need to submit that. You need to submit this task here. Okay, I have taught you, I will teach you how to do linear regression. Based on that, you have a data set. You are going to submit a collab link or a Jupyter file link. Okay,
Okay,
understood?
thank you. Okay, thank
Welcome.
you.
Now before that, before the coding part, let's see one cool thing. If you are a geek or you are into mathematics, you like maths, you can use this tool. Uh, what you can do is you can specify some values, see how things change. Okay. This is for एक या दो ही मतलब total two labels. Now what will it get is it will plot this line. इस line में क्या हुआ? You have found the best fit line. ये लग नहीं रही best fit, but since our data is really less, it is best fit line, and there are some points here. So it has found the intercept, it has found the slope, everything. So this is a cool thing. Graph pad, you can use it. Now let's come to the coding part. Before coding, I have had many people. What is with Jupyter? What is with Google Colab? Should I go through that? The difference between them? What you should do? What you should not?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
just a second. So, Python, you guys know? How many of you know Python?
I know, ma'am.
I know.
Okay, you all know
Like how
Python. So
to code
basically
in Python?
programming. Yes, you have to code in Python only.
I
R, I am
only
not
have
going
like
to
a
teach.
little language, little knowledge. Like I watched the videos that you sent. I have watched till the tutorial 4.
That's well and good. करते करते you will learn, okay? Don't worry about that.
Okay.
So in Python, Python is a programming language like C, C++, Java. I hope I would like to know for once कि first year में कौन कौन है यहाँ पे? Raise your hand, please.
Me.
Hmm. So you guys didn't do any programming language? At least you would have done C.
No, like in our course, we are like just have the second class today of C language.
Okay, okay. No issues. And how many of you are in your third year, second year?
Ma'am, I am in second year.
Okay, Shahrukh. So second year वाले you know ना how to code little bit.
Yes,
मतलब
ma'am.
अगर नहीं किया बिल्कुल भी.
Yes.
हाँ
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ पाइथन हो जाएगा.
Python में by default the file extension for Python is what .py, but we are seeing here .ipynb. Ipynb is Python notebook. When I say notebook, it looks like a notebook only. You can drop some text here. Just say we are going to implement linear regression. So this is like just the text. Oh, this, I think I yes, ये मैंने cell खोल दिया इसमें. Sorry. इसमें I can write some text, right? So why? Because machine learning is like a research type of field. You need to document what you have done. In conventional programming languages, what do? You write 100 lines of code, you run it, you get the output, the final output that you wanted. But in machine learning, you would like to see at each step कि क्या क्या मेरे साथ code के साथ हो रहा है, what my model is doing. So इसमें we have a concept of cells. So what are these cells? Cells have certain lines of code and you can run that and see the output line by line. Like अगर किसी ने VS Code में debugger use करा हो, debugger also if you on, you would get output of each line. But in Python, we have a notebook style thing. So if you are doing machine learning, then you should definitely use .ipynb, only notebooks. Don't do it in .py file. Error आ जाएगा, you would not be able to debug that, okay? Somebody asked, is Colab good for coding in machine learning? See, in Google Colab, uh, previously it was nice. Being the Google lead, GDS lead, I'm saying this, but Google has done this thing. In Google Colab, you get certain hours of runtime. Like for 5 hours, if you have run your notebook or trained a model, na, it would stop. It would say, come next day. Next day, may all your things that you did lost. So, and they have introduced a premium thing. Like I think the premium is $19 or $10 a month. So, but yeah, अगर आप you're starting with beginner level projects, it is good, no issues. In Google Colab, you also get GPUs, access to GPUs. यहाँ पे देखो, change runtime type में you can also use R, but we are going to do Python only. You can use CPU, T4 GPU, this GPU. The thing is, these other three are like paid versions. Just a minute. I got my laptop and yeah. So I'm back. So yeah, this is there. Jupyter Notebook, on the other hand, runs locally on your machine. If you have installed Python in your machine, just type pip install Jupyter Notebook. It would install Jupyter Notebook in your system only. I'll show how it works. You can just type कि कौन से डायरेक्टरी में आपको Jupyter Notebook खोलनी है. After downloading it, you can do Jupyter Notebook. It is same as Colab, but the UI is just a bit different. It opens in your browser, but locally it runs on the hardware that you have. In Google Colab, you are getting these many types of things that you can try, but in Jupyter, it is going to run on the configuration of your machine. Okay.
We can use Anaconda Navigator as well, ना? Like वहाँ पे Jupyter Notebook वगैरह सब है.
Yes, you can use pura conda, everything. You can use anaconda, everything. So this is how your files in Jupyter look like. If you are doing basic tasks, you can use this. But if you require extensive GPUs and all, you can go for Colab. Everything has its merits and demerits. Okay. So now shall I start with coding of linear regression?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
पक्का ना सबको समझ में आ रहा है?
Are we supposed to like code side by side or only watch you?
Could you please repeat that?
I just said that are we supposed to like code side by side with you or just watch like what are you doing right now?
As you wish, but I would say follow just what I'm teaching. You will get the YouTube video. Na? You can do it while watching that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, Python में there are many libraries. Libraries में क्या होते हैं? Different modules होते हैं. For the folks who are in first year, you have certain libraries in Python जो ये task perform करते हैं. What we are going to do, we are going to import that into this environment. Okay. Or linear regression. This is my model imported. Now I have called this. अब ये सारा काम help करेगा मुझे करने में, ठीक है? Now see, AI देखो कितना अच्छा है. Generative AI is giving me choices from my code. So this is sklearn metrics dot import mean squared error. इससे you can find the mean squared error that you get after training your model. So in the library sklearn there is a module called as linear model जिसमें एक चीज है linear function that we have called. Similarly, in sklearn, in metrics module, we have mean squared error that I have called. Then we have a library called as NumPy. NumPy is basically numbers Python, NumPy. So isme everything is an array. Array, you guys know arrays, matrix, and you guys understand that?
Can you tell what is an array?
Yes, ma'am.
चलो जिनको नहीं पता देखो. Array is like this. ये array is a data structure. Data structure means it stores certain values. In array, you can store continuous value in continuous memory locations. What I mean by continuous memory locations is, suppose in my hardware there is a register like जिसका number है 2130. तो उस पे क्या stored है 1. 2131 पे will be stored 2. So it is like continuously memory में stored. Understood this?
Yes.
ठीक है. So numpy में everything is like array and matrix तो 12th में पढ़ा है यार सबने. पढ़ा है ना?
जी।
ठीक है, तो हमने ये कर लिया है इंपोर्ट। अब ये लाइब्रेरी इस एनवायरनमेंट में आ गई। नेक्स्ट व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज, अब मैं डेटा सेट थोड़ा कुछ बनाऊंगी खुद से। अब बनाऊंगी खुद से का क्या मतलब है? बनाऊंगी खुद से का मतलब है दिस इज एन इंट्रोडक्टरी सेशन, अ बिगनर फ्रेंडली सेशन। आई एम गोइंग टू यूज numpy टू क्रिएट सम डेटा। लेट्स से मेरे पास एक है ये, अगेन दिस इज एन एरे। लेट्स से वेट हाइट ही ले लो, मेरे पास हो गया 160, एक की हाइट है, एक की हाइट है 134, किसी की है 123, 134। ओके, ये मेरा एक डेटा हो गया जिसको मैंने बोल दिया एक्स, मैंने एक्स मान लिया। यू कैन ऑल्सो राइट हाइट। ठीक है, ये इतना समझ में आया?
यस।
जस्ट अ सेकेंड, आई डिड अ मिस्टेक। ये अलग अलग होगा क्योंकि आई नीड टू मैप एवरीथिंग। Next, I will have some data for these values also. 160 पे let's say the weight is 54, 134 पे let's say 67, 123 पे it is 23. These are my data sets. Understood? ये मैं मॉडल को फीड करूंगी and this is what I want to predict. Understood? Understood everyone?
यस।
Yes.
ठीक है, हो गया ये। अब नेक्स्ट थिंग, मैंने इसमें लीनियर रिग्रेशन को बुला लिया है, बट मुझे उसे उसका मॉडल भी तो बनाना पड़ेगा। सो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल मेक अ वेरिएबल कॉल्ड एज मॉडल एंड नाउ लीनियर रिग्रेशन। ये मॉडल का फंक्शन है। अब मैं पूरी इस नोटबुक में इसको कौन से नाम से रेफर करूंगी? मॉडल। ओके, नेक्स्ट व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू, मॉडल आ गया। अब जितनी हमने मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ी थी ऑल दैट विल बी डन बाय दिस मॉडल ओनली। यू डोंट हैव टू फाइंड एनीथिंग, मॉडल विल डू everything for you. Like I said in the introductory session, machine learning is like using functions. You are not doing any mathematics. You just have to be patient to sit in front of the computer and let your model train, because kabhi kabhi it takes a lot of time. Now best fit line, so I am going to fit x and y. ठीक है, so अब it will find the best fit line on its own. See how quick it was. Quick because the data set is very vague and very small. If I have 1,000 lines of data, it might take 10 seconds more, but linear regression is simple, so इतने में हो जाता है। इतना समझ में आ रहा है सबको?
यस।
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to use the same data to predict. और मैंने उसको किस में स्टोर कर लिया? प्रेडिक्शंस में। Now I want to see कि कैसे प्रिडिक्ट हुआ, क्या नहीं प्रिडिक्ट हुआ. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think I didn't import one thing. इसको you can run again. ये हो गया. Matplotlib is used to visualize things in this. We will see how the plot looks like. कि actual values क्या थी, line मेरी क्या बनी. I have predicted it using X. अब ये I'm going to use a scatter plot. Do you guys know what a scatter plot is?
नो।
No idea at all.
No idea? अरे ऐसे मत बोलो, पता होना चाहिए. ये है स्कैटर प्लॉट. स्कैटर प्लॉट में क्या होता है? एक्स एक्सिस और वाई एक्सिस होता है, कुछ पॉइंट स्कैटर्ड होते हैं. सिंपल. अंडरस्टूड?
Yes.
जी।
Scatter. I'll explain everything. Just a second. लेबल की स्पेलिंग सही है? Because I don't remember. मेरी इंग्लिश इतनी खराब है.
सही है.
सही है ना? Generative AI, Copilot, Gemini are taking our jobs. It is predicting on its own what I should type. So I will make a scatter plot जिसमें I have this X, I have this Y. Color is going to be blue of the points of the actual label. Then I'm going to have plot. Just a second. I'm going to have this plot जिसमें एक आएगा x again. X के respect में we are doing ना, we are predicting this y. So the predicted values, where did I store it? I stored it in predictions. So this is going to be my predictions. Then the color I have used red क्योंकि difference होना चाहिए, and the label is going to be predicted label. Legend, you guys know what legend is?
Yes.
Not
No.
like your idol
No.
legends. देखो ये chapter. लेजेंड इज बेसिकली इन्फो क्या है हर पॉइंट का देखो मूवी लेजेंड अभी मुझे लग ही रहा था ये चीज जो होती है कि कौन सी लाइन क्या है दिस इज लेजेंड अंडरस्टूड
Yes.
अंडरस्टूड चलो अब हम इसे चलाते हैं देखो दिस लुक्स लाइक ये कैसी बेस्ट फिट लाइन है रीजन हाउ स्मॉल आर डेटा इज एंड उतना ही धीरे ये ट्रेन हुआ है सो एक्चुअल पॉइंट्स यहाँ है जो प्रिडिक्टेड पॉइंट्स है वो इस लाइन पे है देखो इफ यू लुक क्लोजली एक ही पॉइंट मुझे सही लग रहा है दिस वन 160 सही इन द सेंस इट इज क्लोजर राइट बाकी पॉइंट्स आर नॉट दैट nicely defined so this is how you implement linear regression how simple was that or how difficult was that for you
Easy.
easy okay एक और I have a linear regression की फाइल जिसमें थोड़ा बेटर आउटपुट आया था लेट मी शो how best this line is perfectly fitting इसमें data was like this okay and इसमें I use this also to print this slope और our coefficient जो कि gradient descent ने use करके इस मॉडल में निकाला था so इसका इंटरसेप्ट लाइन का ये आया है 0.24399 इसका कोएफिशिएंट 1.974545 है so this is how simple linear regression was when it comes to coding but when it comes to mathematics it can be a little tough but I hope I made it clear अभी तक किसी को कोई डाउट है इसमें
नहीं.
any doubts any questions
No.
no बोर तो नहीं हुए all of you
नहीं नहीं.
नहीं नहीं.
नहीं okay so this was about linear regression बाकी आपका week 1 में I'll show what you have to do week 1 में you are going to do linear regression you are going to do its exercise is for your learning purpose then you are going to get your badge then comes logistic regression as I mentioned previously in supervised learning there are two types of algorithms regression and classification now logistic regression's name is very deceiving it says regression but it is not a regression model it is a classification model the reason will come in next session or I'll share a YouTube video from where you can learn about linear regression okay so logistic regression is for classification I see many folks using logistic regression to predict AQI don't do that okay if I am imparting something I know I don't want you to be confused. Okay, linear regression is a classification model. In this also, you're going to learn the fundamentals and get your batch. Then comes classification. Now, this classification techniques, इसी का part है ये. Okay, and your project is you have this data set. This is your AQI wala data set. I am giving you a project to make an AQI predictor. Okay, इसमें you have some values T, TM, TM, You have to predict PM 2.5. अब इसके कोडिंग में क्या डिफरेंस आएगा? इसके कोडिंग में you are going to use this. This is a CSV file. You are going to use this. Like यहाँ पे you can upload your file. Like इसमें sample data भी दिया है कुछ. I think these are some of the data sets that are already there in the libraries, even in sklearn. But what you will do, you will upload your CSV file जो आप यहाँ से download करोगे. Next, what you will do is you will code it out. Now थोड़ा सा different होने वाला है than this simple thing. इसमें हम array तो नहीं use करेंगे. You are going to read the CSV file on your own. You are going to create a वेरिएबल्स टू स्टोर दी एक्स में ही आप सारे एक साथ स्टोर करोगे. जैसे ये जो फीचर्स हैं इसमें यहाँ तक वीएम तक टी से वीएम तक जितने फीचर्स हैं आप सारे एक्स में ही स्टोर करोगे एंड यू विल बी प्रेडिक्टिंग वाई. नाउ यू हैव दिस टास्क kind of like a homework. You are going to figure it out how to do that. Okay, itna I have told you. Use YouTube, use internet, use the learning material given to you. Okay, इसमें आपको PM 2.5 प्रिडिक्ट करनी है. दिस हैज लाइक आई थिंक 2K लाइन्स हैं इसमें, अराउंड 2K और 1K. इसमें you can see that you have these empty lines also. You are not going to consider them. You will see on your own how to do this as well. इसमें कोई दिक्कत किसी को नहीं आनी चाहिए. अगर किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, you can DM me or we can take a doubt session जहाँ I can help you solve your code. Okay, so this is your week 1 task. Then you can submit this form. Now किसी को अगर Google Colab का आप लिंक भेजो तो make sure शेयर पे जाके ना restricted मत कर देना anyone with the link. ऐसा मत करना कि I am not able to see your file only. And you can make it well documented. You can add text here कि ये चीज ये कर रही है, like a proper notebook. So this is your week 1 task. You have to submit it by Sunday. And yeah, that is it for week 1. I hope the session was able to give you something from what I have learned since my first year in machine learning. I wouldn't say कि I am expert, but yeah, जितना मुझे आता था, I have told you. And I hope you enjoyed the session. Would you guys like to do a quiz? Quiz करना है किसी को?
हाँ,
If
उससे first
हाँ,
करना है.
I think
Yes.
I have taken.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Taken so much of your time. But since 32 of you are staying here, let's do a quiz. Just a second, I'll share the QR and everything. So the quiz is going to have 5 questions. And these 5 questions में जितना सेशन में पढ़ाया गया है वो होगा. And it is going to be like time bound, leader board वाली चीज आ जाती है इसमें. Just a second.
लाइक जो आपने आज पढ़ाया है उन्हीं टॉपिक से रिलेटेड होगा ना?
हाँ हाँ, पूरा इसमें पीपीटी में जितना था, जितना मैंने अभी पढ़ाया. Say if you are doing or if you are doing from your laptop, you can go to this website called as quizzes. And you can then scan this QR code or enter this code. Okay, we will start at 21:29. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's wait for 2 minutes and you can all join the quiz. I will also join the quiz, but don't worry, leaderboard पे I won't be there. जब you have joined it, do let me know. see only one participant till now. Okay. People are starting to come.
Joint.
आई थिंक नीट में कितने लोग हैं? 32 लोग थे. 32 आने चाहिए यहाँ पे.
Can you please post the link in the chat?
Yeah, I'll post the link in the chat. Posted. There are 14 people till now. किसी का कोई इशू तो नहीं आ रहा क्विज एक्सेस करने में?
नहीं.
बाकी लोगों को क्विज नहीं करना है. There are 31 people here and I am only seeing 20 people. 11 more to go.
भेज दोगे ग्रुप पे?
ग्रुप में लिंक नहीं डालना था. You weren't supposed to put that on the group. Please delete that. You are there in the meet and you are like participating here. Somebody would do it from their home. Don't do that. Chats में I have posted. In the quiz, I would assume 27 ही लोग हुए अभी तक. Let's start, okay? Let's not wait for those two people who have not joined yet. Shall we start, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
You can start playing. We have 50 at the top. Okay, एक क्वेश्चन में लग रहा है सब फंसे हैं. We have SN at the top, the most attentive, I think, and the most interactive person in the meet today. So are you guys done with the quiz? All the 5 questions?
Yes.
Leaderboard rankings then. We have SN, Achyut and Siddhi at the top. And then we have Aaron, Yash, Advik. You can see your name. I'll share these leaderboard rankings after this meet. Okay. सबके सारे questions हो गए ना?
Yes.
Now let's come to the answers. क्योंकि क्विज करना is not the only goal. What is the main difference between supervised and unsupervised learning? For people, I think you must have got confused between this and this one. But remember, supervised learning requires only labeled data, while unsupervised learning does not. Okay, this is the correct answer. Then, which one of the following is an example of supervised learning? Ab, if you used thoda sa of your brain, I didn't teach anything apart from linear regression,
That's the
and I
same
told
logic
that
that I used.
yeah. So linear regression is the answer. In linear regression, the goal is to find the best fit line to predict a continuous output. So just one incorrect. That means 90% of you guys understood what linear regression is. Now this one. Which of the following statements is true? The answer is it minimizes the sum of square differences between actual and predicted values. In the last slide, I told you that in linear regression, what our goal is to find the best fit line to reduce all the losses that we have L1, MA, L2, and MSC. So this is the answer. Now this question, this one was pretty, tough. So iska answer, what did you guys mark? Correct. SN, what did you mark?
Semi-supervised.
Yeah. And what was the reason of you doing that?
Because I thought क्योंकि उसमें कुछ like वैसा data भी था, like it says whether they have the disease or not. So I think that that data needs to be like put it in, and like the AI needs to know it that there are some false data in it as well. So it becomes sort of semi-supervised.
Yeah. So in the PPT and in this session, I didn't say ki we also have semi-supervised learning, but we do have semi-supervised learning. Most of the time when you are doing supervised learning or in this data only, you can see that there are some missing values. So you need to eliminate them. This is like semi-supervised learning only क्योंकि इसमें लिखा हुआ है कि while for others it is missing, some data is missing. So this is the answer. So leaderboard rankings are these. This will be updated with your week one submission and quiz key, which we said extra activities, bonus activities. Okay. Congratulations to the top three, SN, Achyut, and Siddhi. Really nice to see that you guys got this streaks and most of you have understood the concept that I taught. That means so much to me. So yeah, this was the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy it? I hope I didn't bore anyone.
No, no, no.
Yes, we
Yeah,
enjoyed.
Satvik,
Yes.
go ahead. Tanya, you
In
raised your hand. Yeah.
I really enjoy the session. I appreciate that you take out time from Amity's hectic schedule and teach us.
Thank you. If you guys don't have any doubts, you can leave. This was all from my side. We'll see you in the next session. Okay. Good. Which course I'm in? I'm in computer science third year in Amity. Yes, Advik.
Actually, I have a doubt in the learning rate topic.
Again, you can take my time. Tell me.
Yeah, sure. So it is written here that the learning rate can change, like when the learning rate is too low and the